Proceed.
What's that?
Proceed.
Check it for me.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Now proceed.
Okay, thank you. All right. 4 years ago, I made a decision to return to the office that I left about 32 years previously, because I've always loved the office. I've always wanted it to be the best office, because I know the importance of prosecution to the public and to the safety of the public. What I had seen happen over an 8-year period was that the public was increasingly losing confidence in the office of county attorney, and that's a bad deal. We had two people who did sit in the office, but they weren't terribly effective, they weren't terribly efficient, and they certainly had lost the confidence of the people. That was my main goal, was to stabilize the office, to keep it from being a revolving door, to build a situation to convince the commissioners that you had to pay prosecutors an adequate salary in order to keep them and to have the best prosecutors. Young people do make mistakes. Old people sometimes make mistakes, but we hopefully don't make as many as younger, inexperienced people do. I've seen Finney County grow in their county attorney's office just to exceed us. They've been able to keep assistants for 23 years, 22 years, and 18 years. There's a reason they're able to keep assistants that long, and that's because they pay them adequately. Their 3 assistants get paid more than the county attorney does here. Their county attorney gets paid 40% more than the county attorney does here. They have an $800,000 budget surplus over the county attorney here. We don't need that much money to operate the office efficiently and do it well. But what we do need is to tell an assistant what we want to do more than date them, that we want to commit to them so that they can have a career, they can have a family, they can support a family. And we should all be proud of the fact that we would be willing to pay our assistants an adequate salary so that they will have families, that they will buy homes and build their families and commit to our community, because a committed prosecutor to the community is a good prosecutor, because they're invested in this. It isn't about me, it's not about Natalie, it's about the office of Ford County Attorney. That office is important to this community, as important as any public office in the county. We have to make sure that we are able to attract and retain really good people. And the only way you're going to attract and retain really good attorneys is to pay them adequately. Let's catch up with Finney County, at least on their salaries, so that when one of my assistants gets an offer from them, they won't take it and they'll stay here.
One of the best jobs I ever had was as a clerk at a library. I made minimum wage. My boss ended up being a good friend of mine, as did all of the other women who worked there, and I loved that job, and I was sad that I couldn't do that for the rest of my life because I couldn't support my family earning minimum wage. But I learned something from that experience, and that is that while money is important, money is not the be-all, end-all of career success and happiness. Something I completely agree with Mr. Malone on is that the 2 terms prior to him were abysmal failures. The reason people were coming and going at a rapid rate of speed, and let me tell you exactly how rapid that was. At the point where I'd been an assistant county attorney for 10 months, I was the most long-lived assistant in the office at 10 months. The problem started with potentially salary. Salary is certainly a lure to get people to apply for the job, but where it stopped and ended and circled back around was having a boss that you look up to, want to emulate, want to work with every day. There's a really good working relationship in Ford County within the court system, and I like to think that Mr. Malone is a good working colleague of mine. And certainly I worked for him for 2 years, and I have respect for him as an attorney, and I have no intention of befouling him in any way, but I feel that I must point out the real serious problem in the room, which is we need a county attorney who will not divide their attention in a way that's damaging to law enforcement relationships, successful prosecutions, just having attorneys in the office who are clear on policies. If you have someone who has to live with those policies, full-time, day in and day out, standing side by side with you to prosecute those cases, they understand the ramifications of those policies and changes and practices. That's what Ford County needs. Now, I'll tell you, I didn't turn down the pay raise when it was offered to me, but I'll tell you right now, the county attorney's salary is nearly $80,000 a year. And if Mr. Malone wants you hardworking people to believe that's not enough to attract a full-time prosecutor, he's wrong, because I'm here to say I want to do the job. I would really appreciate your vote on August 7th.
I can assure you the sheriff's salary isn't anywhere close to $80,000.
Need to go to law school.
I'm going to wrap up pretty quickly here. There's been some ideas kicked out to you all tonight that sound pretty good. But I think if you're in the office for a while that you'll understand the realities of how some of those things work. We've talked about monies that are beyond budget. When I ran for this office 12 years ago, I never asked anybody in this community for one dime of money to do that. I've never asked anybody in this community for one dime of money consequent to that. My people have not gone to this community and asked people for money. I don't think it's good policy. I believe in just what I said earlier. I believe in fair, impartial, consistent, and compassionate enforcement of the law. And I think if you reach a point where you become beholden to people in certain areas, then it's awful hard to fulfill that mission. That's my policy. That's the way we've done it. I have the advantage here tonight. I'm not standing in front of you telling you what I think I want to do. I'm already doing it. I don't have to stand in front of you tonight saying, I think I want to learn how to do this. I've already learned how to do it. I want to have the opportunity to keep moving forward and growing this agency in a growing community, and I want to be part of it. I appreciate your support on August the 7th. Thank you very much for being here. It's great to see this kind of turnout.
Well, back again, it's going to be the same thing, same old thing. If he hasn't done it by now, it's not going to get done. I'm running because I saw the lack of effective law enforcement throughout the county. Realized it didn't have to be that way, but I also realized it's going to take somebody outside the system to fix the system. A lot of times the people inside the system can't see the forest for the trees. If you elect me, you will get a proactive, hands-on, see me on the street sheriff that's working within your communities, building community-based, county-wide volunteer agencies to multiply our manpower without taxpayer funds. As I said before, working in Mexico, Russia, Africa, Europe, I'm totally unafraid to reach into those other areas and those other cultures and build consensus and work with them.